Hang on, Destiny. You say that the Biden administration has done nothing to meddle with the DOJ. He has literally pardoned his son, who's been convicted of criminal offenses. That is.
Why did you just say bingo? What do you think a pardon is? How is a pardon meddling in the DOJ?
What's happening, everybody? Woke Dip Destiny was among 4 people recently on a panel on Piers Morgan Uncensored. The panel debated the topic of Hunter Biden's pardon. Guess which side of the argument Destiny was on? Nah, I'll let it be a surprise. With that, let's watch an entire panel of people and the host take turns picking apart yet another of Destiny's nonsensical, angry arguments. Let's go.
Ryan.
Yeah, it seems to me that the Democrats, liberals generally, have gone into a weird kind of collective anaphylactic shock, which has now been massively exacerbated by what Biden's done. Because the truth is, they cannot handle the fact that this guy they spent all year calling a fascist, a Nazi, the new Hitler, the biggest bigot in the world, blah, 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 has won literally across the board everything. It's set them all slightly nuts. And people like me who basically are in the middle, I'm a kind of centrist, slightly liberal guy, right? I'm not a Trump dingleberry. I've just warned the liberals for years this was going to happen. And now it's happened. They want to blame me. And I'm like, I did try and tell you.
Right. I mean, if you look at the Trump victory overall, there's a wide range of why he lost, from woke culture to racism, misogyny. I mean, it runs the gamut. But what's really interesting about this this pardon is what Biden is saying in the pardon versus what Democrats who are supporting Biden and protecting Biden or making excuses for him are two entirely different things. Biden is saying that what Trump has said for years is true, that there is politicization inside the Justice Department. And that is a damning account, because politicization in the Justice Department was completely a partisan issue. Democrats for 4 years said it wasn't happening. Republicans said it was happening. And here's the Democratic president saying, no, it happened, but it happened against my son. I think that the scope, I don't, listen, if he would have said, I love my son, it's my only surviving child from my first marriage, I honestly don't know many Americans who would disagree with him. I would feel sympathy for it, but that's not what he said. And the scope and the length into which he has given this pardon, 11 years for for everything, it is a full pardon for anything. It draws the question, what else was he doing? There was $24 million from foreign countries, including adversaries, through 20 shell companies. There's probably more. There was the issues of Hunter receiving millions of dollars in free legal services, in representation. There were probably appointments. And where does it end?
Okay, Destiny, here's the problem. Not a problem.
I'm just curious. Because I don't know all the time. Do the people who cover politics, are these like actual news people? Like, what is the background here on the show?
What's your point?
When you have people talking about...
Did Destiny just ask what the background of the panel is, suggesting that he's at a higher tier of political knowledge somehow? What's your background, Destiny? Weren't you playing video games for kids? There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know if it qualifies as a great background for political debates, which you seem to be the hot ticket on the left right now. If you were Destiny, wouldn't you avoid that topic at all costs? Like, what's the background of the people covering politics? He is really... He's truly lost it. I know we say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again during this video. He gets so crazy. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
People talking about, like, the Democrats have never said.
Just go look at his laptop. He gave you all the info. Hunter's laptop tells you the story. You don't have to be a journalist to read the story.
Where are the charges? Hey, where are the charges? Ben, where are the charges? They've been investigating Hunter Biden for 4 years. Where are the charges? I thought we were going to get impeachment charges from Jim Jordan. Where are the charges for Hunter Biden?
It's a great question. I can answer that because I
actually
actually read it.
The scope into which they looked into Hunter Biden was very narrow.
The DOJ made sure that the statute of limitations on the worst crimes that dealt with the tax issues were outside the statute of limitations. So if you go talk to a lawyer, they'll explain what that means to you. But the DOJ
I don't need to talk to the lawyer. I've read the documents. Thank you. I'm not illiterate.
You asked the question. You asked the question. You said, where are the journalists?
You just made things that sounded like FARA violations. You're telling me the FARA violations of him illegally accepting foreign money, of him taking bribes and having money go, that the statute of limitations is what, 2 years?
Don't talk over each other, please.
I'm going to finish it again. He never registered as a foreign agent, and the statute of limitations that ran out on that for what was going on. He never dealt with the tax issues and didn't have to, because we know deliberately that they purposely slow played to make sure that the worst crimes were going, and the DOJ did this. The timeline is clear. They would expire, so they couldn't charge him with those crimes. The reality is, the reason why the Biden administration is now having to go back and say who else needs a damn pardon is because there was people abusing their power to make sure that the only two crimes that they charged Hunter Biden with could not be connected to the big guy. The gun charge didn't connect the big guy to any actual crime. And that's a fact. And the tax charges were...
Do you guys think that's something that's getting lost in this whole Hunter Biden pardon thing? The big guy? I feel like because Joe Biden is like this decrepit old thing now, we just feel like sorry for this old man who doesn't know what's going on. But by pardoning his son with a blanket pardon for 10 to 11 years, so they can't investigate him on anything that happened at that time, crimes we may or may not even know about, isn't Joe Biden also, in a roundabout way, kind of pardoning himself to make it more difficult to investigate him? Because am I crazy, or is there not a laptop full of alleged crimes that Joe Biden committed? Don't we have at least one witness that was even on this email chain about making sure the big guy gets his cut? Isn't there a lot of evidence that suggests Hunter Biden was an intermediary for access to Joe Biden, who at the time was vice president of the United States? Isn't there a crime there? Why are we not investigating him? You know, they keep saying, oh, Trump's going to weaponize the DOJ. Well, if I'm describing this correctly, and please tell me if I'm wrong or there's a reason that all that information that was in the laptop is irrelevant or something, but these are the kind of things I would think the Trump DOJ would go after, is crimes that just haven't been investigated by Biden's partial Department of Justice. I think Joe Biden's getting lost in this whole thing. Like, there's some major alleged crimes. And when Trump calls them the Biden crime family, everyone on the left goes, oh, how dare he say that? But isn't there kind of a lot of evidence that would suggest there have been some crimes committed not only by Hunter, but by Joseph? I don't know. Let's get back to the video.
They did charge him, dealt outside of any of the money coming in from the money laundering. So the Department of Justice ran interference and said, we'll make sure we investigate this. Oh, crap. The statute of limitations ran out. Even if we wanted to charge him, we couldn't charge him with the crimes. And that's why the White House is saying, holy crap, who the hell needs another pardon here? It's that simple.
Okay.
And go read the laptop.
Easy question for you then. Easy question for you then, right? So the reason why Mueller was appointed was because an actual obstruction of justice was Donald Trump firing Comey to try to stop the investigation into his illegal activity.
You have the right to fire who you want to fire when you become the president. You should have fired him day one.
What was the equivalent action on the White House and their influence on the DOJ? Give me the equivalent action. Where is the intrusion of Biden into the DOJ?
Is this dude serious? Really? He is correct that there's not an equivalency of weaponizing the DOJ, but the scales are weighed heavily towards the Democrats in that one. How about 93 felony counts against Donald Trump, who'd never committed a crime in his life, had any trouble with the law? How about raiding his compound at Mar-a-Lago over having unclassified documents at his home? Then when the exact same thing popped up that Joe Biden had done it, they investigated that case. And I think the conclusion of his report was something like, Joe Biden is a well-meaning, sympathetic, elderly man with a poor memory. Wait, no raid on anything? No guns drawn? Just essentially, he's just a widow old man. We can't investigate a harmless little guy like this. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. And how can Destiny say with a straight face that firing James Comey is even close to all the things they've done to Trump? Not to mention, we always talk about the weaponization of the DOJ against Trump, but remember when the Twitter files were handed down from Elon Musk to Matt Taibbi and that other reporter? The IRS showed up at Matt Taibbi's door the next day for an audit. I wasn't aware that the IRS does house calls. This is why he's frustrating, because Destiny is so angry, self-righteous, and passionate about absolutely nothing, or about the most objectively wrong statements. I guess that's what makes him entertaining and why it's fun for people like me to cover him, but I don't even know if he can be serious saying this stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
I'll answer the question simply. If you understand presidential powers, you would understand that you serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president had the right to fire James Comey whenever he wanted to, and he should have done it day one. But he went against his advisors when he did that. James Comey, by the way, laughed on TV about sending an FBI agent because the Trump administration was too trusting, too new, and too green to Washington to go after General Flynn to try to get dirt on Donald Trump.
You have nothing. You have nothing. Flynn lied to the FBI. Donald Trump is no equivalent to the DOJ. There is no equivalent to that on the Biden White House, which is why what you just said was a bunch of nonsense. It was nonsense.
Answer me this question.
Hang on. Destiny. You say that the Biden administration has done nothing to meddle with the DOJ. He has literally
who's been convicted of criminal offenses.
Who's been convicted.
If you like watching videos like these, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
I say bingo. What do you think a pardon is? How is a pardon meddling in the DOJ?
You don't think it's meddling with justice?
Because the DOJ and the judge even said yesterday that this was the most despicable abuse of power. Go listen to what the judge said, who's not a conservative judge, who wrote a scathing rebuke of the Biden administration's abuse of power after there had been a conviction for his son. Go read what the judge wrote, and you might understand.
I'm sorry. Do you think that when does a pardon happen if not after a conviction? What do you think a pardon is for? Is every single pardon?
That wasn't my point. My point, Destiny.
Please, let me say this. If this is the part where you need to listen to what you're saying. No, listen to what you're saying. You just said that you only give a pardon when someone's been convicted. If that was true, they wouldn't have just given a 10-year absolute pardon to Hunter Biden for a bunch of crimes he committed in case he is actually investigated for the damn crime.
The whole point of issuing that pardon is to make it so that you guys can't spend the next 4 years playing Hillary's emails with Hunter Biden. That's the whole point. Because that's what you guys do. Like you tried with Hillary, like you tried with Benghazi and failed over and over and over again with all these bullshit investigations. You do like you've done now with Hunter Biden. Like you did with Ted Starr and Bill Clinton.
Hang on. Destiny, to be clear, Destiny,
you're gonna bring in charges to Joe Biden, and has nothing. But here you are, still speaking
calm down.
The same lies about the Biden crime family.
Destiny,
what did I lie
hang
about?
on, please. Can I get involved here? Destiny, I've got a question for you, which is Gavin Newsom, who was one of the most vocal.
Is he suggesting that the Hillary email scandal and Hunter Biden's laptop are not worthy of investigations? Are you kidding me? He's acting like Republicans just use these things as, you know, a gotcha against the Democrats. No, they're alleged crimes committed. Not to mention Hillary got off with not even a slap on the wrist. They said she was extremely careless. That's it. No big deal. Who cares if our confidential emails are on a private server? And who cares if I trashed all the emails that we didn't want everyone to see? Give me a break. And then the Hunter Biden laptop is literally a laptop full of evidence of crimes. And so that brings me back to my question earlier about Joe Biden trying to protect himself. Because as he mentioned, Hunter Biden wasn't just convicted of something and he gave him a pardon for that. He gave him a blanket 10 or 11 year pardon for crimes we know about, don't know about, whatever. But to me, that would make it more difficult to investigate alleged crimes against Joe Biden. So I guess I'll end this by just reminding you of my question earlier and hope you'll comment about it. Do you think by pardoning Hunter Biden, Joe Biden is trying to protect himself as well? Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like seeing woke idiots like Destiny get roasted by people with brains, then click on one of the 2 videos that just popped up on your screen. Otherwise, as always, I really, really appreciate you watching. The end.